In this video, I'm gonna give you some of the best jump shots I've come across so far in 2K25. I have a few different customs for builds under 6'5", and then I got a jump shot for builds over 6'5". And I also have some super important tips for you to help you shoot better in 2K25. So make sure you watch this video all the way through. And if you're new, hit that like button and sub up. Let's get into these jump shots. Okay, this first jump shot is a jump shot that I've been using, and I'm shooting over 50%, so it's pretty decent. We all know how inconsistent shooting is this year. So shooting 50% with about 100 games is a good percentage. And I've been doing it with this jump shot right here. So the base I've been using is Kyrie Irving base. I think it's very smooth, has a very good green window. And then for my release 1, I'm using Darius Garland at 17%. And then release 2, I'm using Oscar Robertson at 83%. And then when you come down to the settings and the visual cues, I'm using release visual cue. And if you didn't know, whatever you put your release cue on in the jump shot creator, that overrides whatever you have in the settings. So right now, if I put it on push and I have release on the settings, then it's gonna override that release in the settings with that push. So I like to play on release because I think that having it on release gives you the best visual cue. And especially with this jump shot, it has a great visual cue at like the top of the head. You know whenever he flicks his wrist, you know whenever to let the button go. So that's why I like it. And then for release speed, we're going with maxed out. We're always going to max out our release speed on our guard jump shots. We're going to have the fastest jump shot as possible. And then again, I'm 17% for release 1 on Darius Garland, and then 83% for Oscar Robertson for release 2. Moving on to our next jump shot. And as you're going to see, my releases really aren't going to change because I like the releases that I have with the blending, because it gives me a visual cue that I like and that I'm good at timing. So that's what you want to focus on. You want to focus on finding the jump shot that feels good to you. That's why I'm giving multiple jump shots, because my Kyrie jump shot you might not like, but this Cam Thomas jump shot you might like. You might like the base more, you might like the way it feels more. So it's really up to you and personal preference. You got to mess around with different jump shots and see which one feels best for you and which one you're comfortable with and that you can time consistently. But then again, we're going with our visual cue of a release speed. We're going to max that out, and then the blending is going to be the same. Release 1 is going to be 17% Darius Garland, and then Oscar Robertson is going to be at 83%. And you can tweak this blending any way you want. Majority of jump shots are going to have Oscar Robertson in their jump shot because Oscar Robertson has a very, very good visual cue. So that's why I have it on. And then I think it pairs perfectly with Darius Garland. Last year I had the same release combo, but the blendings was a little bit different. But as you can see down low, release height A+, release speed A+, defensive immunity A-. Time and stability, you don't really need to focus on that because it's all on you. It all depends on if you're able to time the jump shot or not. This is my third jump shot for builds under 6'5". You want to go with Steph Curry base. Curry is always going to be a good base in this game. This right here, I feel like is faster than the other two. Is very quick. So if you like a quicker jump shot, you can go with these. The other two, they're not slow, but I would say they're slower than the Steph Curry base. And just like the other ones, we're going to have the same release cue. We're going to have the same release speed. You got to stay consistent. Whenever you're making a jump shot, you want to stay consistent. You want to practice the same thing over and over again and get it down. If it don't work eventually, then switch it up. But you don't want to try something a few times and then give up on it. You want to get the reps in for it. That's what anything you do. I mean, if you was hooping in real life, you would get reps up. You would put shots up and adjust your jump shot in different ways. But we're going to go the same thing as the other two with release 1, 17% Darius Garland, and then release 2 is going to be 83% Oscar Robertson. And for my builds that are over 6'5", I don't have a build that's over 6'5", so I can't go and create the jump shot. But my guy Jose, he's very good shooter in this game. He has a 6'7" popper that shoots some crazy contested shots, some great pick and pop shots, great catch and shoot jump shot. And the jump shot he's using is Jared Culver base, and release 1 is going to be Troy Brown at 81%, and release 2 is going to be Oscar Robertson at 19%. For his visual cue, he likes to go with push, which makes sense to me because last year on my taller builds, I went with push, and then my shorter builds, I went with release. The reason I did that is because smaller builds are naturally going to have a faster jump shot animation than taller builds are going to have. So if you want to get that shot off a little bit earlier, you can go with push for your taller builds, no matter what jump shot you're using. And then for your shorter builds, go with release. But this jump shot, you want to have it max speed. Only thing you want to adjust is that visual cue. Put it on push. As you can see, we're at the boost tab, and boosts are going to be very important in this game. You want to make sure you have on jump shot boost, and then you also, if you can afford it, have on some Gatorade boost. You do get a stamina bar from doing your workouts, but if you want to get a double stamina bar, you want to go to your Gatorade boost, and you want to buy this one right here in the middle, this Gatorade Thirst Quencher. Buy that if you have the VC. It'll give you another bar, and this is really mainly for guards because we're dribbling a lot and we're losing a lot of stamina. If you're spotting up in the corner, you don't really need to buy a whole bunch of extra Gatorade boost because you shouldn't be doing much on offense. You should have stamina to be able to shoot the ball. So this mainly applies to my guards that are dribbling. Get some Gatorade boost because your stamina being low will affect your jump shot, and then also go stack up on you some jump shot boost. This is always going to be something you want to have on your build, because the next person might have it and they're gonna be at an advantage over you if you don't have it. So to even the playing field, make sure you have jump shot boost. You might be able to shoot with it, and that's fine, but you'll be able to shoot more consistently with it. So with the way shooting is this year, is pretty inconsistent, so you want to have as many boosts as possible. Next, we're going to talk about hot zones, and as you can see, I have one lethal zone, and then I have 3 other hot spots around the 3-point line. These are going to be very important. They also give you a boost whenever you're shooting these zones. My favorite spot is the left wing, so that's why I have a lethal zone right there. And they changed the art of shooting this year a little bit. You can do drills that allow you to get 1 lethal zone, 2 lethal zones, or even up to 3 lethal zones. But I chose to do the easiest one because I don't want to, you know, mess it up. But I think you can dashboard this year. I didn't try to do it and I wasn't sure, so I wanted to be on the safe side and make sure I at least got 1 lethal zone in my favorite spot. But you can get up to 3 lethal zones. The drill is just a little bit harder to win, but you can do that if you want. And as I was saying earlier, you want to make sure you know your visual cue on your jump shot. Right now I have that Cam Thomas jump shot on, and as you can see, the visual cue is kind of above his head. So when the ball gets above his head, he's about to flick his wrist, that's when I'm letting go. You want to make sure you get down that visual cue and look at that the whole time. People like to shoot off of muscle memory, but in this game, you can't rely on muscle memory because different things will change your jump shot timing. If somebody's close to you, if you're wide open, if you get a bad catch, if you get a good catch, if you're on the 3-point line, if you're 2 steps off the 3-point line, if you're fading, there's a whole bunch of different timings in this game. So to be able to shoot consistently with that, you want to just focus on your visual cue. You know, you might be tired, your stamina might be down, and your jump shot might be a little bit slower. Stamina might be up, your jump shot is gonna be faster at the regular speed. So you wanna make sure you're paying attention to your visual cue. Get down that visual cue and rely on that. Don't rely on muscle memory when it comes to shooting this game. Another thing people sleep on is the takeover boost you get this year. In past 2Ks, you always got a boost whenever your takeover bar was going up, but this year you can visually see how much of a boost you're getting. You might get like +3 on your jump shot, or you might get +5 on your steal. I'm gonna show you real quick the way that they changed takeover this year. So you go over to your takeover, and I have on gifted hands, and you can see as it goes up, +5, +7, +8, and it'll show you the boost you're getting. And you can get progress to your takeover without shooting the ball. If you have a shooting takeover, I can throw an assist and it's gonna give me progress to my takeover. I can get a dunk, I can play good defense. I can do a number of different things that's gonna give me a boost. That's gonna raise the percentage of my shot going in and give me a bigger green window. So don't start the game chunking crazy shots, shooting fade shots that you can't time or something like that. Do something easy, get an assist, get a layup, get a dunk, and boost that takeover meter up, because it's gonna boost your chance of making your shot. And shooting is gonna be inconsistent this year. I don't know what they did with shooting, but we gotta adjust. You gotta adjust every year. So it's gonna be inconsistent. Don't get too upset, you know, don't just change your jump shot 50 million times because you miss one game, because I can go 7 for 7 one game, the next game I can go 1 for 8. So don't let that throw you off, you know, stay consistent, stay true to your jump shot, learn your jump shot, know that you're missing because of the game, because of the RNG system, and that's all that matters. If you know that you're timing your jump shot right and you know that that should be green, then there's nothing to worry about. There's nothing you can control. Control what you can control, learn the jump shot, get consistent with it, and then everything else will work itself out. If 2K doesn't adjust anything, they don't adjust anything. And I kind of like it like that, because the better person is gonna win. I mean, if everybody can shoot, then you're liable to lose to anybody in this game. But if only the people with high IQ that can consistently time their jump shot and consistently stay focused, but if the people that can consistently time their jump shot and consistently stay focused can keep doing that, then they're gonna win the most games compared to somebody who, you know, is not even paying attention that much, or just giving up on the game because they missed a couple shots. So I think it makes a little skill gap. Some people may not, but I think they should keep shooting the way it is, even though it's kind of difficult. But click on this video right here on the screen where I give you the best guard build in the game that I'm using right now. This build goes crazy and it can do absolutely everything on the court.